If you had questions and you did not have the opportunity to put those in the chat box while we're here now, you can, of course, email me at lm_simmons@blueridge.edu. That would have been, if you go and click on the link that you received in the text message, you can also easily get back to a page on the college's website that has my email address as well. You can also just call the main switchboard number, which is 828-694-1800 if you have a question, and whoever is at that front reception desk will be more than willing to get you where you need to go or get you in touch with the right person. So that's what we do here in Student Services, is we try to get the answers to you as quickly as possible. I don't see any additional questions. I have added the form at the bottom again. So if you have not completed the sign-in form, please make sure you do that before you close your window. I want to make sure I have everybody listed in this form so I know who participated today. Once again, one question: where do students park? So depending upon where your classes are, there are some restrictions based upon some construction stuff going on one side of the campus. But pretty much if you have class over on this side, where the Student Center is in the Killian building and the TED building, there is two large parking lots over here. One is behind the Industrial Skills building, which is being renamed to the Henderson building. I think that's the new name. Then there's also the parking lot in front of Killian and the Technology Education Development Center, which is the TED building, if you hear someone call it that. So there's two large parking lots there. At this point, I do believe there is some parking still in the Patton parking area. Just please make sure that you're mindful of what the parking lot is labeled as and make sure you're not parking in something that's labeled handicap unless you have a handicap pass. Of course, if you have questions about that, same thing, you can come into Student Services and ask. Somebody else is asking about things with the gym. And at this point, I think that all of our gym things, anything that requires a lot of touching, are still closed as part of that Safer at Home order. So those types of places are going to follow the same rules that gyms and stuff like that are following in the state. So at this point, gym equipment is not accessible. Our Student Center at this point is also not open for students to lounge. If you were to go in there for an event, you'll notice that all of the furniture is pulled away so that you can actually sit and hang out in there for a period of time, just to limit the gathering options. Scholarships for work study. I don't know if, Crystal's still on here, so she can probably answer that in the chat. It is an hourly thing, and that is a federal program, so Crystal will answer that from financial aid. Trying to see if there's any other questions that pop through. Like I said, you can always call 828-694-1800 if you have questions. The library and computer lab are open in the library, so you can go in there to utilize a computer lab there. I think there are other opportunities. I think Kirsten knows something else she's about to share, so I'm going to turn it over to her about the computer lab component.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Laura, thank you. The library and computer lab. So when we had shared earlier that the college was open during the spring semester, those were also open as well. So there were an opportunity to have some computer labs on campus. The library was open. The Student Success Center was open for tutoring. So those places are open on campus, so it might not be every computer lab, but if we have to get to a point where we are down to like a minimal structure, there will be places where you can still come on campus, use Wi-Fi, use computers. Amy's group was very diligent with that, and so we'll make sure that that's always open and available to students. So Laura is correct, the weight room and the student center and those lounging spots are not open at this point.
Can I add one thing?
Please.
That we are, keep checking on the website, because we are making Wi-Fi available in some parking lots and some outside areas, so that if you just want to pull up in your car and connect to the Wi-Fi there, it'll work too. So keep an eye on the website. I think they posted that, different areas, like a map where you can go.
And I saw another question about, so are we going over class registration? So if you are not registered for classes at this point, final registration date is tomorrow. So at that point, if you have not actually registered for your classes, you can come in tomorrow and register, or you can call and speak with a counselor. So you have some options depending upon what your comfort level is. We're going to be open tomorrow from 8 to 7, so you can come in. And we can get you taken care of, whether you need to see your advisor or if you just need a first-time counseling session to go over what you need to do, we can do that for sure. So not something I can necessarily put in the chat box, but if you need to register, tomorrow is your final day, unless you're taking late start classes, which you've got a little bit of time. But the sooner you get that taken care of, the better options you're going to have for your course selection. Another person has asked, how do we know what time to join our online classes on Wednesday? I think it depends on your course. Your schedule should be listed on your My Blue Ridge account, and it should show you what time your course is. If you have questions, that will also list your instructor. So the best course of action at this point would be to go ahead and email your instructor to find out those expectations if you are worried about what that's going to look like. If your class is purely online, you may not have a specific time that you have to log into the class, but if you are taking a HighFlex course, you will be required to log in at a certain time. So I would go ahead and communicate with the instructor now if you have questions about that, or call the switchboard, which is the 694-1800, and we can look at things, get you with somebody with a counselor, and we can get that information for you. Okay?